Right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to OTLR Division 1. I'm Ashton the Brit, followed by my fellow draft, Lanky. He's currently busy getting all the people in, so we'll ask him how he's doing in just a bit. But as it is the first round of the season, obviously the all important driver lineup, we're just going to go through this, starting from last year's Constructors winners, which will be Red Bull. It's sort of the same. We have Glitch 10 and Cooper Fan. Cooper Fan moving from the Haas to the Red Bull to line up alongside Glitched, as Myth is not racing at the start of this season. Hopefully, we'll be able to see him later on. But for now, it's going to be those two. Moving on to the runners up of last season and season's three champion, Marius Anderson, is in the left McLaren, and Ratty. These two will always be his teammates and pretty much always in the McLaren. And then finally, we have Mercedes, the return of Taboo Dwarf, the American who showed great pace, not last season, but the end of the season before that, before he took a little break, and he's now back with the partner of Robin. Robin came last season. He started winning races and really started to show himself as one of those runners. Followed by next is the Haas. Now, the Haas this season, uh, if I had to put my predictions in, I don't think they'll do as well as they did last season. But we do have the Division 2 champion who has now been promoted up to Division 1. How happy he is about that, I won't be sure. But he has got his teammate of the KFC bloke alongside him. These two do like to communicate pretty well, so we'll see how they do. Then next was it was P5, I believe, which would be now Audi. We have Sering Alpaca, who was racing at the start of last season, but then missed the end half of it. But he is now back alongside of Brian Imbrumo. He is the season 5 Division 2 champion, I believe. So he's also been promoted last season, done pretty well, and is staying Division 1 for now. These two, I think these two will be the underdogs that do well. Obviously, coming up from Division 2 to Division 1. I mean, at some point, both of these drivers were in Division 2, but now they have the pace to be sort of the midfield fighting for those points. Next is the Williams. Who's in the Williams? Boss Moss and PW Jones, teammates from last season. However, they just moved from Mercedes to the Williams. So I think those two would do well. Maybe not so well in qualifying, but they definitely have the race pace to be going for those wins. And then following the Williams is the Aston Martin, which I believe these guys are two new drivers, so I can't really say much on how their pace is or how they're going to do. So for all we know, they could take the season by storm and absolutely just demolish everyone. But obviously, we have some pretty quick people in Division 1, so it might be a bit of a challenge. Next is the V Carb, which will be Swifty and Huff and Dobak. Huff and Dobak this season, or this game, sorry, has found loads of pace, so I imagine he will be up there alongside Swifty. Swifty has been a bit on and off when it comes to OTLR, but when he comes to other places, he's been crowned champion on one of them and has topped the spot quite a few times. I imagine he'll be fighting for around that mid pack in the like P5 around there, possibly even a podium. We did have a few preseason races where he was able to try and get those spots. And then lastly, the Alpines. I believe these guys are returning drivers, but they are slightly not. I think they joined a few rounds from the final of last season. We are about to get going soon. We have 20 out of how many are racing. I'm not sure. Two more drivers to join. Speaking of drivers that aren't racing today, we do have a few reserves in. Some you might know if you was to watch OTLR quite a bit. Well, Swifty isn't racing for the Red Bull, so he's got Dune. I think that's how you pronounce that name correctly. He'll be replacing him. Dizzle, he was racing last season as well, I think. He did a few rounds. He replaced Robin in the Mercedes, and then Lorenz Patton in the Audi. He did not get a full-time seat this time round, but he might eventually throughout the season. We'll see how things go. But we are about to get into qualifying, and that means we are going to now ask Lanky how he is doing and how he thinks this race is going to go.
I'm doing good, thank you. Yeah, now I've done all that, I can let my voice be heard. But after what I saw yesterday with D2, I think we're in for a good one today around this track. It being obviously one of the longest, if not the longest, I don't know. I think it is the longest lap in it on the calendar. So
Yeah, definitely up there.
it brings plenty of racing. Well, it brought plenty of battles yesterday. So I'm hoping for a similar sort of thing today.
Yeah. Obviously, I'm not going to mention anything about Division 2, especially when it comes to leaving the pits on this track, because we all know what happens there. Thankfully, it wasn't caught on stream, but, you know, we don't really want that to happen to the drivers today. As we are about to get into qualifying, I believe there is a bug with this game as per usual, so we won't be seeing wet weather anytime soon. However, we might do eventually. Let's hope it gets sorted, or we just decide to give up and allow it to rain at some point. Because rain around this track is probably going to be absolutely, it's going to be terrible. Actually, speaking of this track, before we get into the qualifying, as all the drivers get their setups, we are going to go to the track map. 19 turns, 4.3 miles long. This track, people say it's pretty tough when it comes to battery, but I found it pretty well manageable. Pole for Division 2 is going to be around the high, maybe even mid 43s if some of these drivers can lock in. Glitched. But yeah, we shall see. I imagine, well, the slowest time is probably going to still be in the 44s, which is probably what we expect from Division 1. How much the grid will be split? Let's hope not a lot, because that is the plan when we are looking towards a new season and getting those placements in. But yeah, we are about to go into the session, and who is the first one out? It is one of the Audis. I imagine it's going to be Lorenz Patton, as the KFC bloke finally joins. And now we have a full grid, full 22 drivers. Obviously, yesterday there was a safety car after lap 2. Can these drivers manage to do the same, Lanky? What do you think?
I think so. I mean, turn 1 is a recipe for it at this track, with being a short run and then a very tight corner. But yeah, I reckon these guys should be a bit slightly better behaved. But we'll have to wait and see on that one.
Yeah, indeed. And obviously, for the casual drivers in Division 1, they might not play this game, but Lyco is going to be a big thing in this game. And if someone forgets to do it, we could see some people go crashing into their rear diffuser and maybe causing some problems. But hopefully, by now, the game's been out for around a month and a bit. So they should be able to know the meta by now, and hopefully, just get that all sorted. But as we get all the drivers coming for their first laps, we actually have an Audi, 2 Audis leading the looking to lead the pack. What times would these guys set? The Manchester United forward Brian and Bremo and Lorenz Patton, who will top the Audi team chart. So we've already had a disconnect from one of the drivers. I'm sure he'll be joining as soon as possible. As these guys are about to start their lap, we go on board with them, but not like that. So come towards the first lap for Division 1 in OTLR. Time to set would be a low 44 for these 2 drivers. What can they do as they're about to start their laps? Coming to turn 1, a bit of a wiggle from Brian there, but seems to keep on going. Not massive disadvantage there. Just to get a few drivers just coming out of the way. Is his teammate going to give him a beautiful tow coming down towards the straight? Keep in mind, both of these drivers are on their hot lap, so if they do some sort of yo-yo effect, I imagine these banker laps could be pretty good. Definitely going to be the time to beat for these 2 drivers. A 30.9 in Sector 1 already, so Brian is already off to a flying start, just sitting behind his teammate. What can he do? Can he keep up the consistency through Sector 2? I think is the most difficult part of the track, to be honest. It's where you lose the most time and more likely to spin if you go a bit too wide, as he almost did there. Luckily not touching the gravel trap, as we have Richmond join again, but Brian and Bruno coming down towards the fast left-hander, towards the end of Sector 2 now, still using his teammate as a tow. You lift off for these few corners, as you do in most tracks these days. But so far, it's looking like a pretty clean lap for these two Audis. What will Brian's Sector 2 split be? It's going to be a 15.4, so he's already off to an amazing start. How about his teammate? We haven't actually been on board with him yet. We've just been on board with the driver behind, who has that advantage over his teammate. A 15.4 for Sector 2. He's going to be setting a really good benchmark for these drivers to come up towards the bus stop chicane. Is this where it's going to ruin them now? Is he going to get distracted by being a bit too close to his teammate? It doesn't seem so, as he's about to cross the line. What would it be for his teammate? A 43.7, and Brian will get a 44 flat, and that is an amazing lap from him. I think Ratty's just behind. He sets a 44.4. Taboo Dwarf is about to set his lap, 45.6, so not as quick as we thought it would for him. Actually, never mind, I was looking at his teammate. That's a 44.6. What about LR Luke? There's some drivers ahead. 22 drivers on the grid makes it much more difficult to try and figure out who to watch, who's going to end their laps. But as the newly driver of the PSR driver in the Aston Martin, he goes P3 for 44.3. But so far, the two Audis looking like really strong. How did I go to P21 and P22? I have no clue.
Don't ask me.
Cooper Van goes to P2 for 43.9. If anyone knows how to get to P21, P22, let me know. What about LR Luke in the Cadillac? Can he get ahead of his teammate? No, he can't. He gets into the pits. What about Marius Anderson, or is it the Audi? It's going to be the Audi. It's a 116 flat for Sector 2, so not the quickest of Sector 2s as it comes towards the bus stop chicane. Is he going to have enough battery left, or just enough juice left to give him that extra boost coming out of that final corner? What would it be for him? Can he break into that top 10? As he crosses the line, yes he can. Goes P8 with a 44.7. Who is next? I think it is Marius Anderson. He's behind his teammate who has set a lap, so he's going to get a nice tow coming down the back straight. But will it be enough? I imagine his teammate's going to give him a tow all the way up until the braking point. When will he get out the way? I imagine he would get out of the way as his teammate, as he does now. Hard braking for the bus stop chicane. And what will it be for Marius Anderson? His teammate set 44.4, and he goes into the pit to set an embarrassing lap after he's invalidated. However, I don't know how to... How do I look? There you go. No. I have no... I'm just going to have to do it the long way around. If there's anyone in chat that knows how to switch, let me know. And that's everyone's first lap's done. Then we've got Richmond about to set a lap, or is that Catella? No. So everyone into the pits for their first lap, and it is kind of a split grid from a 43.7 down to a 45.9. Obviously, they could have made some mistakes, but that P13 to P16, that's not really looking that bright for those drivers. Shift and a number. Yeah, I get that much, but it doesn't. How do I get to P21 and P22? Shift and a number already goes up to P20, mate. Unless it's shift control. No. I have no clue. PW Jones, P15. He's sort of sandbagging, doesn't he? He always likes to do that for the first 6 minutes until that final second where he crosses the line and gets a 42.1. We have an Audi. Richmond is on a lap. One of the last drivers to set a lap. Does have an Aston Martin ahead of him that we can't go on board with. It's going to be a very lonely race for P21 and P22, I can tell you that. Let's hope they're not fighting too much. Richmond now. We didn't see what he set for Sector 1. But let's see what he can do for Sector 2. The thing is, looking at these cameras with the these type of angles, it's looking pretty slow, but I imagine it'll be the otherwise, well, not that way because of all the battery and that. But coming up towards the end of Sector 2 now, this is where the time really starts to show. If he's in the 15s, he's on a fairly competitive lap. as he comes towards it. It's a, oh, it was a 16 point something, so I'm not quite sure if he's on a competitive lap. I imagine it would be just behind the top 10.
Yeah, everybody getting back out for their second runs pretty quickly. Maybe wanting to go for 3 runs with the time that's still on the board. Saw most drivers yesterday do the 2 runs. I think a couple did 3.
So I called that perfectly, actually, just behind the, just behind that P10 spot. Adonis in the Aston Martin, he went into the pits from his lap. I think we have the KFC bloke actually on a, no, he's a bit further behind, so we'll go back on with Luke. So comes towards the end of sector 2 now. So far not looking like a really good lap. It's 16.2, 2/10 off where he would probably want to be. However, if that was down to battery, he could gain it all back now. So he comes towards the bus stop chicane. Hard braking from here. Cooper is also on a lap alongside his teammates. What about Luke? Went over the curb and spun! Oh, that is going to be unfortunate for him. And without a lap, he's going to have to go around again and set one final lap to try and have at least a chance of setting a competitive time. What about the KFC bloke? He goes P7 with a 44.6. Good lap from him. What about Cooper fan? He's the car ahead, giving his teammate a tow. So we'll see what Glitch can do. Currently without a time on the board, as Cooper tries to get out the way of his teammate by cutting the corner. We go on board with Glitch the long way around.
Got Boss Moss coming down the back straight, who's just under 2/10 up on his current lap, so that will stick him around P4.
15.8 for sector 2. What can he do? He's showing the pace during the preseason. Has a massive snap, flies into the pits. What about Adam? Or is that the Haas? It's a Haas. That would probably be Nobody Cares. Will he be up on his time? Sat on a 45.2 so far. Can he break into the 44s? Not after that. Or maybe he can. A 44.6 puts him right behind his teammate by just under a 10th and a bit. What about Dizzle? Dizzle's a bit far back. So go on board with Dune. He is half a 10th up on his time. 45.6. So far, pretty split times for these drivers. What about Glitch 10? Glitch 10 just ahead of his teammate, maybe prepping to give his teammate a tow. His teammate flies into a pit, so I imagine not. But Glitch 10 crosses the line for a 43.6, just a bit under a 10th ahead of Lorenz, which is what he wanted. What about Brandon Bremo? He has just started his lap, so we go on board with the car ahead, who is on one, which is Aston Martin. No, he's not. It's his teammate. Currently sat in P7. He's 2 seconds down on his time, so I don't imagine it will be him. What about Adam or Antonio? Antonio has unfortunately invalidated, but his teammate is almost 5/10 up on his time. He'll be looking to jump up to that P9 position. Crosses the line at P10, so he lost some time in sector 3 there. Maybe just ran out of battery, which just really shows how much of a difference it can make. His teammate, on the other hand, is unfortunately invalidated. Be Marius Anderson, just behind his teammate. He's down in his time, so it won't be him. What about?
I was just about to say I don't think he was pushing because he's got a full battery, so he might be going on this lap.
Is it one of the Hasses? Is Somebody Cares isn't on the lap? Yeah, I believe it is Lorenz Patton. He's got a bit of traffic ahead. Obviously, ghosting's on, but it can still be visually distracting. So comes towards the bus stop chicane. All he needs to do is find the 10th, and he's back on that provisional pole spot. Good exit. Unlike a few drivers, he hasn't spun yet. A 43.1, and he is flying ahead. Pretty sure that is the quickest time I've seen so far. So good lap from him. We've got, I believe, Glitch has finished his lap, so it wouldn't be him. it might be Casello in the Ferrari. He's had a massive snap coming out of the bus stop chicane, and I imagine he will be losing time as he wiggles in frustration and doesn't improve. Actually falls back by 6 tenths. Dizzle is not on a lap. I believe it is his teammate Taboo Dwarf. He's invalidated, so now all these drivers only have 1 lap left if they want to set a decent time. But a 43.1, he is storming ahead of the entire field, and I think that might be pole for him already. I don't think anyone's going to beat that.
It's a very strong lap, that, half a second quicker than Glitched Hen's 43.6. But yeah, they're going to need to put a mega lap down to come anywhere near that.
And another thing to note as well for anyone watching, the Division 2 pole would have been P9 today. So
it's a lot in the 44s though. From P4 down to P13, all in 7 tenths.
Catello, is he on a lap? Currently sat P15. No, he's not. He's already done one. Yeah, 2 seconds slower. His teammate Richmond, on the other hand, he was 3 tenths up in sector 1. He's 3 tenths up again in sector 2, 15.7. 3 tenths up would only get him ahead of his teammate. Sector 3 is where he's going to have to find all that time. How brave can he be coming into that bus stop chicane?
Yeah, if you don't play your cards right with your battery, you can lose a lot of time down this back straight.
So far has a clean exit. And yeah, he improves 4 tenths.
Yeah.
Not good enough for P13, but sits P14 with less than a tenth away from the Alpine. And I think everyone's coming out for their last laps now. Glitched Hen is on an outlap. I believe one of the Alpines of Antonio's, he's going to be the first one to set his final lap.
Most on their outlaps now, so it's going to be a bit of chaos. But mind you, they've got a fair bit of, some of them are spread out quite fairly.
Few drivers retiring, maybe feeling like they can't improve that much. Top 14 are all within the 44s. 3 drivers in the 43s, 1 almost in the 42s, which would have been excellent, but he just failed to do so by a tenth. He's just about a tenth up, 31 flat in sector 1 for Tonio. Can he at least try and match his teammate? It is pretty close if you consider it from P13 all the way into that point scoring position.
With the Ren, yeah, and the 2 Red Bulls looking strong with each other. Maybe they can use that to their advantage in the race if they stay near, within a position of each other for the start. They can make the Great Wall of Red Bull and try and go from there.
They are currently in a German sandwich as Antonio's 3 tenths up in his lap. But as he comes towards the final section of his lap, he does have a bit of traffic ahead of him. Hopefully he doesn't ruin it for him too much. We've got cars pretty bunched up coming towards their final laps. One of the Cadillac gets out of the way as you heard those tires screech coming towards that corner. Has a snap. Is he going to improve though? Yeah, he can, but only half a tenth. It's not good enough to improve any more than he probably would have wanted. We have, I believe, Dune. He's 6 tenths up in his time. That won't get him into the top 10, and maybe we'll get him to P15. As he comes towards the line now, what will he do? 45.1, loses a bit of time in the end. but he's P15 for now, maybe even falling back a bit. Huff and Dobak, he's 5/10 up on his time, or 5.5 up on his time, so he's looking to get ahead of his teammates. What can he do coming towards the end of his lap as he's in sector 3, 6/10 up, and it's good enough for P15, only ahead of his teammates. I believe it is one of the Williams next. It's Jonesy. Has Jonesy been sandbagging? He is not that much up on his time, 45.4. He crosses the line. What's he going to do? No, pretty poor lap from him. We have the two Red Bulls. Glitched isn't improving. What about Cooper Fan? Can he jump ahead of his teammate or even get to pole? No, he stays where he is for now. Brian and Brumo has invalidated his lap, so that'll be over for him. What about Taboo Dwarf? He's not up on his time. However, his teammate of Dizzle surely is up on his. No, he's not. Well, he is. 2.5 temps. Only good enough for P17. I believe we have one of the Hasses now. It's a KFC bloke. He's a 10th up on his time. That will jump him all the way up to P10, possibly P9 if he improves even more. But he lost a bunch of time coming towards that final lap. And his teammate doesn't improve also with a 45.6. What about Ratty? Not that many people improving on the final laps. Adam is 6 temps down in his final lap. So it's now going to be down to Luke, the only driver yet to set a time. And he's invalidated his lap and flies back into the pit. The driver from last season who was struggling a bit back in Division 2. Gained pace, but can't improve or show consistency. Ish. But unfortunate.
Yeah. Antonio is the last one, but he's not been pushing. He's on an in lap. He's going into the pit. So yeah, that's it.
And that is your qualifying session over with Lorenz Patton taking pole.
Yeah.
43.1, 5/10 ahead of Glitch 10, who is also around 2 attempts quicker than his teammate. But the two Red Bulls are looking pretty strong.
Yeah, they just needs to try not to battle each other too much in this situation until the end of the race if they're near each other. But for the start, they need to ideally try and work together to not let Lorenz break away too much if they feel that they can try and get him.
I mean, Glitch 10 he has got that inside lines. I think he's got the advantage coming into turn 1, but we'll see how safe he plays it. So we now go towards the lobby restart. Let me shall switch screens. Does the game want to show? That would be great. Right. Let's get the fan out. Remember to stay cool, guys. My fan's dead. Great.
Just do my screenshots. There we go.
So do we think it's coming home, Lanky? Do we think we're gonna win it all, or is it rigged to?
Yeah. We've got a tough route to get to the final. We've got to deal with Haaland and that lot, and then potentially after that it will be Argentina if they make it through, and then yeah, we could potentially then have France to deal with. So it's going to be a tough route.
The owner's Welsh, so I imagine he would be wanting them to win. However, they couldn't even qualify for the World Cup. So at least we have somewhere in the United Kingdom that can get further into those stages.
They're good at rugby, though. I'll give them that. The Welsh do know how to play a game of rugby.
Yeah. The only time I ever see rugby is when the Olympics are on, or it's sports day. But that was years ago. Just purchased my Norway top. You know what? You're an op. You're a traitor.
Yeah, that's not allowed.
Traitor. Yeah. How dare you?
Set it on fire. Not allowed.
You're connected to our land. You should be supporting us.
And I think my game's crashed. So what timing, eh?
That's
on the reset.
That means we're going to have a new lobby. Oh, great. You're going to be inviting 22 people back. Isn't that fun?
Yeah, because I'm froze at the red lights. Nobody's moving.
Well, great. Obviously, guys, sorry for the camera angle. Lanky's just so tall that he goes out with a shot. Oh, and look, these guys passed sector 1, reporting them. I don't think they realized that he's even disconnected anyway.
Is everyone else still focused? So they're staying fine.
Yeah, you got Cooper trying to be special, trying to be different. Minus aura from Cooper right there.
How
That's what,
fun! You love it when your game crashes randomly.
yeah.
It's the first time it's happened on this DLC as well.
Right. So we are probably going to take a short break while we get the lobby just set up, well, reset up. Let's see. Just trying to figure out what the keybind is. What should be like?
You still trying to figure that out?
Yeah. What should be like F1 or like F4 or something? Hopefully someone can help me out by the time there's a new lobby. And I just realized I'm going to have to
Yeah,
join that lobby, aren't
a
I?
few people have had
Right.
their game crash.
We're,
Adam has, and that. So
we're going to go back to the default screen while we just get the new lobby set up. So we'll be back in just a slight moment and we'll see you then. Right, we are back. That is the first hydration break of Division 1 over with. We got 3 more on the way. We're about to get into the lobby and get this race started. It's looking like it's going to be a fight for those top 3, Lorenz, Glitch, and Cooper. Who's going to have better race pace? The Red Bulls or the singular Audi? I'm pretty sure it's an Audi sandwich from P1 to P4, so it's not going to be the end of the world. What is your preseason prediction for the championship at the end? Keep in mind Lorenz is only a reserve.
I've been with the Red Bulls since before we had the preseason, knowing how Glitch and Cooper can be. It's just if they can not crash each other, because they do like to race each other, even though they're teammates, but they are a very strong pairing.
And also bad news for some. I mean, you did the comms for this race, but I don't know if you remember Texas in Division 1 with Glitch and that final lap. I'm pretty sure round 2 is Texas, so if he has a repeat of that, no one's gonna let him live it down.
Yeah, he has his moments. That's for sure. But no, he's very strong with pace.
I would like to see what strategies some of these drivers are doing as well. I wonder if anyone will start on the softs.
I was surprised. You were the only one that did it yesterday, and I
Yeah.
was surprised to see it. Like, I was like, oh, okay. And
It
you dragged
almost
him out
worked,
quite long.
but
Yeah,
then
I mean, the
spun.
safety car helped you a little bit, but
Yeah.
you dragged him out longer than I
I'm so
expected you
glad
to.
I went balanced. I was so glad I did that. Sid, on the other hand, best finish he's had in seasons.
Yeah, it's got to be.
As I don't get to hear a beep in this game, but I'm sure Lanky's
No,
ear
I'll let
picks
you
it
know
up.
when I do.
At least no one's readied up early this time, unlike yesterday.
Yeah, that was a quick one. I was there, expecting a couple of minutes, and then I was like, oh, right, the lights are going. Luckily, all of you got your setups on. That was the main thing.
I mean, I almost didn't. Almost didn't.
There's the beat.
There's the beep. All right, we go to the race screen and get ready for these 5 lights. There we go. In 5 lights time, we're going to get racing for the first time in these cars. As the lights finally go out, who's going to get the better start? I know the Red Bulls have had some amazing starts recently, but looks like Lorenz Patton is able to keep his lead. And there's already some wing damage from the McLaren, as a few drivers have already left the session straight off the bat. What is going on with F1
They
in
crashed
36
again.
these days? Yeah. We got some few drivers. We got somebody cares falling a few places. We got Dizzle falling as well. I don't know if that was due to the collision coming into turn 1 or it's just some disconnects, but somebody cares manages to gain some places back. But so far it's looking like a Red Bull 2-3 and McLaren 4-5. Brian Brimo has fell back down to P7 after being P4. He is going to be chased down by Adam. We've got Adonis, Drizzle and Boss Muscle fighting at the back. Go and switch to those guys. It looks like there's been some ghosting between these two drivers. Maybe a bit of some disconnect, as I think there might be an AI, or they're just been in each other so long that they've turned into what's it called? Ghosts. But as we go and look, see what ties people on. The lone driver on the hards, Brian Brimo, could be a good strategy. He just needs to keep it a clean race. We had some drivers yesterday start on hards, me starting softs, as Lanky had said earlier. But so far, it is looking like Lorenz Patton will be still leading, coming towards the halfway mark of the first lap. All the drivers still within that overtake range of each other. Tonio in the Alpine is falling back quite a bit. Richmond is able to overtake both of them. And he is still a second, just a bit behind his teammate. As Glitch tries to make a move on Lorenz. Has a bit of a courageous dive, collides with him. Is he going to give that spot up, or is he going to take it from him? As there is now going to be a Red Bull sandwich. Who's going to come out on top? Cooper Fan tries to look for the inside of his teammate, but he wasn't able to get it done. Lorenz Patton now falls down to P3. If we going to get an overtake through this corner, maybe so. Yes, we are. Lorenz Patton able to stay ahead, but did he use too much battery coming into that corner? And is he going to lose out now? McLaren of Ratty is about to overtake your boss, Cooper, and Lorenz with Glitch. So far, lap 2, already some great racing towards the front. Ratty up to P3, Cooper down to P4. What can Marius do? Can he join his teammate and make it a 4-3? No, he can't. It's still switching between these two drivers, Cooper Fan and Ratty. Cooper got to be careful not to go a bit too wide and touch the gravel and go off. But Brian Bromo is even falling back a few places now. Taboo Dwarf, is he going to gain on Marius? Looks for that inside line. Hopefully he can keep it clean. It leaves enough space, but it's not able to get the move done. The KFC bloke with Huff and go back. He's trying to defend. Is on the outside. He might have a bit of a disadvantage here. Almost gets boxed in, but it's able to keep his position. We've got some cars towards the back. Dizzle spinning out and crashing. But Lorenz Patton able to get back P1 after being P3 and not only half a lap ago.
Great battle between these guys though. Glitch, Cooper, Ratty, and now Glitch going on Lorenz into the bus stop, but couldn't quite get it on the outside.
Are the two Red Bulls going to work together to try and get Lorenz, or are they just going to fight to the very end? So far, it's looking like they're just going to be fighting. But we'll see Ratty and Marius able to claim a few places as well. Brian and Bruno dropping like 4 positions now.
Battles going all over the place.
Obviously,
well, Brian and Dooney side by side, yeah, going up El Rouge side by side.
Did I just see some
That's a ballsy
contact or
move.
debris? I'm not sure. It might just be me. I thought I saw some debris for a second. But we got Brian. Is he about to make a move on the V car? No, he's not close enough just yet. Got a first 3-second penalty. That is what happens when you push too much coming into these corners. Glitch 10 right up the back of Lorenz. Lorenz doing well to defend his position. Stays ahead for now. I wonder what his battery must be like. He is being able to keep it.
I'll update on that carbon that you saw. We have a struggling Red Bull, a Red Bull Ferrari, sorry, of Richmond. He's lost most of the left side of his wing.
As Ratty's actually just took the lead out of nowhere. I was too busy focusing on what you were saying. Ratty just overtook Glitched and Lorenz Patton. I did thought the McLaren picked up some damage, but I don't think they have. Ratty somehow takes the lead of this race. Richmond and Catello down in P21 and P17. Bit unfortunate for these two, but are these two drivers fighting? Is this going to allow Ratty to gain the gap he's needing? I don't think so. Look at that time gain. Pretty much bump drafting each other coming towards the bus stop. Glitched, almost gets boxed in, pushed right. That allows Cooper Fan to take the lead of this race momentarily before Ratty reclaims that top spot. But Cooper Fan falls to P3. We got some more moves being made. Who is that? Not sure, but 4 wide coming into turn 1. Ratty takes the lead. Lorenz Patton goes a bit deep, almost pushes Cooper Fan off the track, or glitched off the track, sorry. But Ratty's still in the lead. It's getting really close between the top 6 here. Who's going to come out on top at the end of the straight? Ratty with a disadvantage, and everyone behind with that slipstream. Imagine he's got to get overtaken by 3 different cars. But I think he just about had the gap, or he used a bit too much battery. Lorenz and Glitched fighting like the head of it. These two might be fierce rivals towards the end of the season, still side by side as they come towards No Name now. But Glitch 10 just making a bit of a mistake. That allows Marius Anderson to potentially get ahead, and does get ahead. And now it's a McLaren 1-3. Glitch 10 and Cooper Fan struggling for some race pace. Taboo Dwarf is in the mix as well. He's always had that pace. He won a few races when he first originally joined. Cooper fan with the disconnect. That is going to be devastating
Glitch
for
is
him.
also carrying right wing damage, I have noticed. So that's the other Red Bull with a bit of damage. I don't know if you've already said on that one, but we had a couple of cars.
Yeah. I mean, into turn 1, he did go into the side of Lorenz. So that might be where it has come from. Brian and Bruno should be able to make the move on the V-carb. Going side by side, has the inside line, but not for much longer. He needs to get the move done before he reaches the bus stop, and I think he can. So many cars bunched up together, going 3 wide into this corner. That's never going to end well for these drivers, but Brian is able to keep that lead and stays P7 for now, chasing down P6. It's currently a McLaren 1-2. Marius gets pushed a bit wide from the Red Bull and the Audi. This is reminding me of Cars 2 in that final race between McQueen, Chuck Huck, and the Dynamo guy. I forgot his name. Haven't watched the movie in ages. But currently a McLaren 1-2 as these guys are hard racing as they come out of El Rouge. They're pushing each other left and right. Cooper fan lucky not to lose any more positions than he currently has. Glitch gets back ahead of Lorenz Patton. But right now it's looking like Ratty's in a really comfortable position as Taboo Dwarf has now disconnected. And that's going to allow Cooper fan to get ahead. What can Lorenz Patton do on Marius Anderson? Is Marius Anderson going to play the team game and allow his teammate to get that gap? The gap's already down to 2 seconds. So I imagine he will be as Glitch 10 goes a bit wide. That damage is costing him. And actually, speaking of damage, he's missing his entire right wing. I'm pretty sure he's missing his entire right wing. It looks like it. Yeah, he is. Glitch 10 has red wing damage. That's actually...
He's going to have... Oh,
there's more damage!
That was a McLaren.
That was Marius Anderson. Yeah, that is... He's missing... So Glitch is missing his right rear wing and front wing. And oh, he's gone wide! Marius has gone wide! We've got some wing damage from Marius and Glitch. The 2 people that would have been in contention for a podium or a win have now dropped out of what could be a podium. What they need now is a safety car. I imagine both of them would be flying into the pits. It's about who's going to get that overtake first and get into the pits. Who would it be? Oh, as Glitch 10 wasn't able to make it, as there's also some cars behind. I think that's Taboo Dwarf losing some positions. Brian and Bremo is able to catch up to P5, and all that fighting between that top 3 has allowed Brian gets back into that overtake mode zone. But Marius Anderson and also Glitch 10 aren't going to be happy. Glitch 10 is going to have to do a whole nother lap before he can pit and change his wing, or he might extend it as much as he can and pit on lap 8, since you can go to the end on the hards from lap 8. Brian Brimmer is about to overtake Cooper, I think. He's up to P4. Something must have happened with Cooper. Does he have any damage? He's actually lost 3 places there. So who knows? I imagine Glitch will lose a few places as well. So that will mean it will be a Red Bull, an Audi 2-3, sorry. As Nobody Cares jumps up to P9. He's fighting with LR Luke, who's able to sort of have a good comeback from P22 to P8. He's able to get back into the points. Can he stay ahead of Nobody Cares though? That's the question. Brian finally gets ahead of his teammate. I think that's Marius Anderson. Marius Anderson has spun again. I don't know if he's got any damage. I don't think he has, luckily. But just like me yesterday, those co-tires out of the pit are going to be pretty rough as Huff and Doback has disconnected. So round 1 hasn't been the best for when it comes to connection. And it's definitely going to cost some drivers a few
I don't know what's going
points. You got a first 10-second penalty for going...
Huff and Doback, yeah. It's just... They're dropping each lap. One different driver each lap at the minute.
It's Glitch 10 able to keep onto that P4 3 position as he actually goes into the pit now alongside Lorenz Patton. Did he pick up any damage coming into the pits? But that allowed Ratty to get a 5.6 second lead, and it's going to be a huge advantage as we have a car towards the back of the grid of I don't know who, but there's more damage. That is the Mercedes of Dizzle missing his front wing as he goes off. I think he might have went into the back of a driver or just made a bit of a mistake. One of the two. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but the amount of wing damage we've seen as the KFC Blick makes an amazing move on Richmond just before coming into El Rouge. and he is going to claim P10 for now, but for how much longer? I think he might have used a bit too much batteries. He has got a 3-second penalty. Can he keep the lead? Can he keep P10, that final points position? Yes, he can. We have our first retirement of the day of Adam. I hope that was in the pits. I think it might have been. Let's hope so. As Cooper fan up to P4. Luke up to P5 now from starting dead last. Nobody cares.
Adam.
P6. Adam is... Where is Adam?
He's just connected DF10 Adam. Another one. Like I say, it's one a lap.
Yeah.
It's different driver every lap at the minute.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. It's 4 drivers in 7 laps. It's I think this might be EA. So we have got some yellow
because we had no
flags.
issues yesterday.
Yeah. 3-second penalty for glitch 10. He's having a bit of a tough day after having an amazing qualifying session. As there's another spin, I think that might be the Ferrari. No, it was the Mercedes of Diesel. Diesel is not having the best of days, as Hilly actually makes an amazing point. It has been all the people on Xbox. I think Huff and Dobak's on Xbox, so that could be... Maybe it's an Xbox thing.
No, because Marius disconnected. He
and
isn't.
Cooper fan as well. Oh, no, Cooper
yeah,
fan's
and
Xbox.
Cooper.
He's Xbox.
Oh, Cooper is, yeah. But Adam, TF10 Adam. What's he on? I can't see his name. They're all flicking around at the minute. Oh, he's retired.
He's on Xbox as well.
Yeah. We have Bossmos disconnect. He's PlayStation. So, no, I think it has got to be an EA server thing at the minute.
So we might have our second retiree of the day. That'll be Dizzle. He retires in P20 after having a pretty tough race. Obviously, first race of the season, people are not going to be up to the race pace that they want. But nobody cares up to P2. I imagine he'll be pitting pretty soon. But I think Glitch 10 can kiss the race win goodbye. Unless there's a safety car, he might be able to bounce back, but it's not looking likely after 8 laps. Adam going a bit wide in the Cadillac. It's the highest position Cadillac you're probably going to see throughout real life and in game. But we've got Brian Brewer still leading the race by 2.9 seconds, followed by Nobody Cares. He was worrying about his race pace coming into this season, but he's been able to be up there with some of the drivers in that mid pack to see if he can stay like that. But Taboo Dwarf, he's been able to be consistent still in the top 4.
Yeah,
Maybe...
apologies. I've been a bit quiet because I've been dealing with inviting everybody back.
Who's our net leader right now? I think is it Lorenz or Ratty? It's Ratty. So Ratty's
Ratty,
pitted,
yeah.
so he's our net leader.
When I last saw Ratty, he was a couple of seconds ahead. So, did he pit before Lorenz? Or after? Because the undercut was strong with a couple of drivers yesterday.
I think it must have been after. I'm not quite sure. But 11 seconds is the gap from Ratty to Luke, Brian, so the undercut will definitely work for him. I think the pit stop window is 18 seconds around this track, so... We've got Glitch 10.
Lorenz is much closer. Oh, we've got yellow. Is that for that's half?
Yeah. So Glitched overtakes Snowbody on the straight. Pretty simple overtake for him. How many more simple overtakes will we see? The Aston Martin on the hash around the inside, able to get that move to stick, and he does. P5. That is a great move from the Aston Martin. The KFC bloke, he was also a bit worried about his race pace, but he seems to be doing well. Does have a 3-second penalty, but that could just be from the hard racing that we saw at the start of the race. Marius Anderson, after picking up that damage and spinning on his outlap, he is looking like he's going to have a pretty tough race getting back to those points positions. LR Luke in the Cadillac gets ahead of Richmond, but can Richmond respond? don't think he has the battery to, so he would stay P8, or he's just waiting for that overtake mode to try and overtake on that main straight. I totally forgot about that. That's probably why they haven't seen that many moves here just yet. But Luke coming into the pits. No, that wasn't Luke. That was the KFC bloke coming into the pits. Brian still gaining time on Taboo Dwarf, actually. Taboo Dwarf is on the mediums, and he is yet to pit. Was that the right
Lorenz
call?
is getting close to Ratty now. Very close.
Yes, he actually might be able to get the move before the even straight. So Ratty might have made a mistake somewhere to lose that much time to Lorenz. But I imagine these guys probably won't be fighting each other too much. Want to try and catch up to the back of Taboo and Brian. If they fight too much, they might lose time and that undercut won't work. But at the time, it seems Lorenz has a bit more pace than Ratty, and he seems to be gaining on him as Brian gets his first 3-second penalty of the day. Cooper fan down in P19, just about to get overtaken by the sister team of Red Bull. Oh, as Catello goes wide. Definitely going to pick up a warning there. I imagine quite a few drivers have probably done that this race. You never know where to go flat out just lift through that corner, so it's pretty difficult as Ratty is still managing his time behind the Ren. 6 tenths seems to be the average time so far. Luke is gaining on Glitched. Has Glitch made a mistake somewhere, or was he just trying to save his battery? Luke does have a decent amount of battery, as you see on the bottom right there. 40%. Is that going to be enough, or is he going to wait for that overtake mode? That would be the smart call to do, and he's just going to wait and allow himself to have that extra boost or extra bit of energy coming into lap 11 or 12 for him, I think. Oh, no, lap 11.
And Luke is doing pretty well. I think he started in last.
Yeah, he started dead last, and now he's up to P7. Yeah. So he's on for driver of the day, I believe. I don't think there's anyone else in front of him that started any lower. We're halfway through.
No, they couldn't
know
because he was last, wasn't he? So.
Oh yeah.
But no, he's definitely having a decent one to put himself at the top 10 this quickly, and he has stopped as well. So.
I mean, Glitch 10 is going to have to get a move on. The fact that he's still P6. Did he repair his wing? Yeah, he did. Okay, so
yeah,
it's pretty good for him then to repair his wing and still be in that chance for a podium. I think the Red Bull fight is his fight is going to be with Taboo Dwarf, I think, towards the end of this race. But actually, Taboo's yet to pit, so maybe not.
Yeah, both the 2 leaders still haven't stopped, and then Richmond is the only other one who hasn't stopped.
Taboo with 10 laps on those mediums. I imagine his tyres will be dying pretty soon. As Lorenz has actually caught up to the back of him now, so is Ratty. Ratty getting pretty close to Lorenz. Is he going to get a move done? I imagine Taboo's not going to have a really nice day coming up towards that main straight. Any moves to be done in this corner? I doubt it. So get a bit too close there onto the braking zone. But now Ratty and Lorenz both have that extra bit of energy. Is Ratty going to get a move done before turn 1? Yeah, he is. That seemed like Lorenz did really let him overtake here. Could that be a little strategy call here? Is he going to get that re-overtake done, as everyone else likes to say in this these regulations? It's going to be a yo-yo effect, Mario Kart mushrooms. Is he going to get that golden mushroom and overtake both of these cars? Well, he already has overtook one of them. As he gets ahead of Ratty, goes a bit wide, goes on the curb, doesn't lose too much time, and is able to get ahead and stay ahead of Ratty. But now the fight is to catch up with Brian, as a few laps ago it was only 8 seconds, and they've only gained 5 tenths in a few laps, so not currently going the pace that they probably would have wanted. Obviously, he's still yet to pit, but I imagine he'll come out with really good tyres and be able to catch up pretty nicely.
I've just been on watching. There's a nice little fight going on with Mario Sportsmas and Antonio for trying to get into the top 10, but they're all battling each other at the moment, so that's not going to help them get back into the points. But it's been a nice battle, so even so.
Antonio finally takes a charge and gets ahead of Bosmos. Can he do the same to Marius? Marius is struggling this race, having a few spins, picking up that wing damage in those opening lap. Well, not opening lap, opening stint. If he's going to get the move done, I imagine it would be now. Taboo Dwarf finally comes into the pits on his 13 lap hold mediums. He's going to spend longer on the mediums than he did the hards. Is Tonio going to try and get the move on Marius? If he's going to get it done, he could probably get it done now. But Marius just had so much battery and gained ahead. Maybe he was just saving that entire lap and was able to stay ahead for now. Bosmos is struggling to get ahead of Antonio. The KFC bloke gets another 3-second penalty. That is 6 for him today. As Lorenz is now starting to catch quickly to the back of Brian. Maybe his hard tires are just starting to degrade at this point. Has Nobody Cares pitted? I'm not sure. I think he has.
Yeah, the only ones who hadn't up to
now is Brian, I think. And
yeah, Brian and Rich. I think Richmond
now,
has now. Yeah, so it's just Brian. I think Brian's going to be down pretty close to Snowbody and LR Luke. Maybe a little bit further.
We shall have
maybe down Nick Otello when he comes back out.
I think it is 18 seconds, right, for Spa. Because if it is, he'll come out P8, maybe P9, if Adonis can try and find a few temps in these next few laps. So he comes into the pits now. He's still going. 8 laps is what you can do at a minimum on these tyres. So I imagine that's what he'll be going for. Any moves to be made? Luke unglitched. Oh, no, he has a bit of a snap. What about Marius and Antonio?
Yeah, Marius, that's still close.
Yeah. Midfield is still pretty close, fighting for that final point position. Antonio with the disadvantage at this current time. Could Glitch 10 still get a podium here? That's the question.
Possibly. He's going to get one position back when Brian stops.
I mean, with that 3-second penalty, I don't think it's going to be likely, actually. So we now have our 4th retirement. I'm now able to select through all the drivers we have. 21 and 22 is now DNF, plus 2 more. There's a yellow flag.
Oh,
that is Cooper.
KFC.
Oh, the KFC, one of the Red Bulls.
Yeah, it's KFC.
Is it?
And the Haas, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's unfortunate for him. Was having a pretty good race, but it's just seemed to be falling back. The question is now, will he keep on going? Or will he be flying into the pits? Dak FC bloke, we shall see. Brian finally comes into the pits. We'll be seeing where he comes out. And I think he might have been out a bit too long. And he's going to fall back into that massive pack that's fighting. Although fresher tyres, it's going to be difficult to overtake the likes of that Marius Anderson, Bosmos, Antonio. Does he get ahead of Marius? So he's still in the points. This could be his chance to gain loads of positions here on fresh mediums. As soon as they warm up, he is going to be in for a real chance of catching up to that podium spot again. Marius Anderson is going to be right behind him with boost mode. He's going to be boxed in though, so I don't think he's going to be able to get a move done. There's a yellow flag. The KFC bloke is in the pit to retire. As I said just before he went into the pits, what will he do? I did predict it. But Brian's still able to stay ahead. I imagine his tyres will warm up halfway through his outlap, so he should be able to get ahead of Catello and then catch up to the likes of Nobody Cares. Nobody Cares up to P6 after complaining about him not being in the right place, not having the pace. He seems to be doing pretty well.
Yeah. He's showing that he should be there.
As Brian
He definitely is in the right tier this time round.
Oh, it's getting
he was in the right
close.
tier last time. Yeah, that was close.
Gets ahead for now. 5 seconds is the gap to Snowbody. Can he gain a second before that overtake mode? Don't think he will be able to, as Catello is still gaining.
If these tyres hold out for him, Brian could still maybe get a P5.
I think he's
Nobody and LR Luke both on quite a few lap old tyres.
See, if there was a safety car and you was Brian, what would you do? Stay out on those mediums or pit? Because everyone's going to be in even fresher mediums. I don't think Soft will go to the end from here.
I think if the safety car was to happen in the next 2 laps, I'd stay. Yeah, you get any closer to the 20, then you're going to want to stick softs on, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, no safety car today. At least that's something to look forward to. How long can that streak hold up for? As Brian is about to get overtaken. That is down to battery. Can he keep his lead, though? Getting a bit too wide as Catello goes on the curb and just bottoms out. Unless there was contact. I'm not sure. We didn't really have the angle.
I think it looked like there was a little bit of a bump on the angle I had that just unsettled him a little bit. But it was just wheel-to-wheel bump. It wasn't anything violent. It just unsettled him on the curb.
As bad news for Ratty, he has lost 2.2 seconds to Lorenz, and the Aston Martin has gained on Ratty.
But Brian's already got a second off of Snowbody, even with battle in there. So these fresher mediums, as I was saying, I was going to have a look on the tyres. Snowbody and Luke are both on 7 and 8. Snowbody on 7 lap old and Luke on 8. So Brian being on 1 lap medium, I think he's going to be battling them come the end of the race.
You know what I'm about to do? You know,
I'm not even going to say it.
The former teammates currently 6-7.
I had a yeah, that's what I mean. That's why I'm not even gonna say it. I had a feeling that's what it was gonna be.
You didn't do it yesterday, so I got to do it today. Marius Anderson gets up to P8, overtaking Catello. However, there are plenty of cars behind going for his rear end. As Ratty finally gets overtaken by the Aston Martin. Doing with a 10-second penalty as he comes into the pits to retire. So 16 drivers remaining. Cooper fan at the bottom of it. Don't know what happened to his race.
He had a disconnect, didn't he? But I'm not sure why he fell so far back, because I don't think he fell too far back from it.
He had damage as
well. That was it.
Yeah. So unfortunate for him. LR Luke still P5. This guy should join TDE instead of LR. Turbo Daddy Esports, who knows? He could do great things. Well, Ratty's still losing time to the cars ahead. So maybe he's Ratty. Did Ratty pit early? Because he's just losing time now. Because Glitch is even catching up.
9 lap old hards.
So maybe something happened. Has he got any damage? Because he's losing time. I think it's too early to lose time.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he's got damage. His wing looks okay. So unless he's just struggling with the battery management round here, maybe.
Maybe so. Can't see from his onboard, but...
he's got some juice in there. He's around half full, from what I could see on the onboard.
I mean, if you take out everything that happened... It's going to be between Audi, McLaren, and Red Bull. Because obviously Cooper found with the damage, Marius with the damage, Glitch 10 with the
Yeah.
damage as well. They would be up there if it wasn't for those things to happen. But obviously, you can never know what's going to
Glitched.
happen in these races.
It's
Glitch
just got
gets ahead
Ratty
of
now as
Ratty,
well. Yeah,
so
so Ratty's
Ratty
definitely
is struggling. Yeah. So Glitched might be for a chance of a podium here. He needs to gain 3 seconds pretty much if he wants to keep that spot. With how much Ratty is
I
struggling,
wonder if
I
Ratty's under
imagine.
fueled and he's having to
Maybe
lit Lyco a bit more.
Maybe so. I think that might. Yeah, probably.
That seems like the only
Because of
sort
how
of reason I would think he's going so slow.
with how slow, I think he might have been like betting on like a safety car to happen. That's probably why
Yeah.
he did it. But because I know he did it in Madrid in the preseason, it worked out like wonders. But now that people have had time to get used to the game, I don't think it would have been the right call here. But we'll see how much time he loses. Hopefully P4 will be enough. Depends on how much Luke can catch up. He's still just about under 4 seconds to 4 seconds.
I think he is under fuel. I've just done a little, I don't normally do it, but I just put the telemetry on and he's got the yellow symbol. So I think he is trying to save fuel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he is only going to lose time from now on. But saying that, Luke does, well, maybe not. Yeah, no, he is losing a chunk of time. 5 temps, the Cadillac's already gained on him.
You need to Lyco a lot without worrying about fuel, so I can't imagine how much Lyco is having to do now.
He must have underfueled by at least a few laps. And he probably wasn't expecting to pick up that damage as well. I think he got damage.
Yeah, I think was it him or Marius? It was one of the McLarens, wasn't it? It might have been Marius.
Taboo Dwarf gets to P11. Can he pick up 1 point after disconnecting? Marius Anderson's going to have to do some catching up if he wants to get any more points for his team.
As I said, coming towards the end of the race, Brian now is close to that overtake mode.
Yeah, actually both.
Boost mode.
Oh, Wait, this not. No, actually no. Never mind. Yeah, he's almost within. I thought somebody overtook him for a second, but that's what it was. But both of those drivers, all of them are actually catching to Ratty pretty quickly. Ratty almost 4.5 seconds behind Glitched. He's only going to be losing positions from now on. It's about how much. It's all about how fast those 3 drivers can actually catch up to the back of them. Obviously, Snowbody and Brian should be able to catch up pretty quickly. Brian now within that overtake mode. Is he going to get the move done? Well, yeah.
He's on 6 lap younger mediums, so I'll be very surprised if he doesn't dispatch Snowbody pretty quickly. But he does have to gain time with carrying that penalty that he's got at the minute, so he's got to try and pull that gap on him as well.
So we've got the Ferrari of Catello overtaking Taboo Dwarf for that final point position. Goes a bit deep. Can he come out on top? No, he can't. Stays P11 for now.
Nice little 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 5 cars all battling each other just behind Brian as well. Marius, Tonio, Taboo, Catello and Bosmos. And I think Adonis has just joined in on it as well. A big battle going on in the midfield.
Oh, that was... Well, I don't know what happened there, but he is in the wall. I think he might have just turned in on him coming up El Rouge as he is crashed into the wall, and that is going to be his race over. 2 laps left remaining. There's not going to be any safety cars. But that's just, we were speaking about what a good race it has been. He is now out of the race and has fallen back down to P15.
Yeah, he's got very heavy right wing damage there, so that's going to be nasty for him to trundle it back this lap.
You're going to make a move coming up Heroes. You better make it stick or something like that will happen. But other than that, that allows Taboo Dwarf to be back into the points, or maybe not, because Bosmos now is just behind him, and he is going to be going for a charge coming up towards the bus stop chicane to try and get that move done. One thing you definitely don't want to do coming towards the overtake, boost mode zone is be side by side, otherwise you both don't get it.
surprised Brian hasn't got past nobody yet. It looks like he's going to be close enough to make the move this lap, but I thought he would have done it in the lap that they've just done.
But now Ratty is going to have to defend for his life if he wants to claim P4, because Luke has caught up, is now 4 attempts, and with Snowbody and Brian just 3 seconds behind. Obviously, Brian with that 3-second penalty. But we could be seeing a Luke and Snowbody P4-5 here. Taboo Dwarf claiming more places. He's up to P9 now. Patello jumps to P10. Can Bosmos get any moves done coming towards the main straight? Brian finally gets ahead of Snowbody. Tonio is finally into the pits to retire. Bosmos. Is Bosmos on the field as well? He slowed down way before some of the other drivers did. But, oh, Luke has lost time to Ratty. 2 seconds now is the gap. What's happened to him? Is this going to hinder Brian and Snowbody in catching up for that P4 spot?
And yeah, Brian's looking to lose out to the position with Snowbody with carrying that 3 seconds, so he's not going to have the time to break 3 seconds on him now in this last lap.
They don't have that long left to catch up to Ratty as well, so Ratty might just about be able to get this.
Glitch 10 is safe with his P3 at the minute.
Oh, the Audi almost got sandwiched in there.
Yeah.
Last lap. What can Brian do to catch up to Ratty? 2.6 seconds is the gap. Will that be enough with how much Lyco Ratty has got to do? What about Nobody Cares? He's definitely going to have to try and get ahead of Luke if he wants to get as max points as he can. Marius Anderson and Taboo Dwarf, they're fighting side by side coming down to
2 by 2 between these four.
Who is going to be leading the mid-pack coming towards the end of the straight? Is Taboo Dwarf going to get a move? He looks for the outside. Can he get ahead before the corner? Yes, he can. Doesn't seem to have Lycode as much as I thought he would have there. But he's still ahead. And there's Bosmos is able to get up to P10. Overtake Catello. Catello on the final lap. Final chance of asking. Just about losing out. And with Luke in the Cadillac defending as much as he can, I don't think Brian's going to be able to catch up to the back of Ratty in time. And Ratty has just about been able to get that spot. As there's actually been a collision.
Luke out of fuel? No, I thought he was out of fuel then. He went really slow. Yeah.
There might have been a collision. But Snowbody and Luke now fighting. It's going to be a fight to the end here as they almost collide. Touch wheels. Who is that? Is that Marius Anderson? No, that is Taboo Dwarf. Taboo Dwarf has fallen back to P12. He might have had a bit of a snap coming out of one of the corners and has lost it. But as Lorenz Patton crosses the line, he claims P1, P3 for Glitch 10 with that 3-second penalty. The debut driver of the Aston Martin gets P3. Ratty, after having to Lyco for the last how many God knows laps, he's got up to P4. LR Luke P5 with Brian having that 3-second penalty. So nobody cares. P6. P7 for Ryan and Marius Anderson. P8 Bosmos P9. Gatello P10 after Taboo Dwarf having a snap on one of the exits coming into that final lap. But that was one hell of a race, I'll tell you that now. No safety car, which is good. It's what we want.
And battles all the way through.
Yeah.
It was decent, that.
But that is going to be it for race 1. Imagine that some of the drivers are going to be a bit annoyed for that race. Obviously, it's the first race. It's always going to be like that. However, it's going to be a good season, close between those top 3 teams, I believe. But yeah.
A couple of unfortunate disconnects as well. Clearly something going on with the EA servers on that one, but nothing that can be done about that. Hopefully they all have a bit better luck on the next one where that's concerned with not disconnecting as many times.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, it's a bit unfortunate, I guess.
Yeah. Touch wood, I've never disconnected from a league race myself, but now said that, it's going to happen in it. When I've been racing, that is.
Yeah. I do have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, so I I don't know if I'm going to do any interviews for round one, but they will be back for next week at Texas, I think. Is Texas right? Yeah, it's Texas.
I'll double check it.
Yeah, it's Texas. So
Okay,
we'll
probably, yeah. So that
we'll
one should
see you
bring some
then.
nice racing as well.
Yeah.
Another nice track.
Obviously, last time it was around Texas, we all know what happened to Glitch 10. So
It's not next week, it'll be in 2 weeks because we with the semi-final, World Cup semi-finals, it's a break
okay.
next week.
So no race next week, but the week after we'll be back for some Texas. But other than that, we shall see you then, and have fun and goodbye.